out to our guest speaker. Our guest speaker is Stephanie Rodriguez. She's a 21st Century Community Learning Center Site Coordinator at Chelsea Reach Program. Stephanie Rodriguez is a Puerto Rican American born and raised in Massachusetts. Stephanie graduated with honors from Bunker Hill Community College with an associate degree in Human Services in 2018. Stephanie is currently pursuing her bachelor's degree in social work at Salem State University. Stephanie has held a high honors record throughout college and expects to graduate in 2021. Stephanie is a mentor to many in her classes and continues to support other students from Bunker Hill after her transition to Salem State. Stephanie started working for Chelsea ASAP, a nonprofit substance abuse program, at the age of 14, where she coordinated services for children with substance abuse and mental health related needs and their families. At Chelsea ASAP, Stephanie led a group of youth leaders to plan and lead substance abuse workshops for young people in Chelsea schools and at community-based agencies. Stephanie joined the Chelsea Reach staff in 2016, where she continues working closely with a diverse group of youth ages 12 to 22, and communicates directly with families about their needs and the types of services they find most helpful. Stephanie's two children, Adani and Armani, enjoy wearing the custom-made outfits Stephanie makes herself. During family road trips, she's always planning and doing pranks that she plays to keep everyone in the household laughing. Stephanie is a published poet, has published her own website, is a licensed nail artist, licensed CNA, and recently launched her own online design business. In addition to Stephanie, we are joined by two of her students at the REACH program, Chris and Jay Lee. And before I pass it to Stephanie, we just wanted to highlight the reason we asked Stephanie to speak to our team is continuing the critical hope. Stephanie is in Chelsea, and we found out through the grapevine that all the work that she's doing, even among the struggle that's taking place in Chelsea, she's continuing to provide critical hope, and we wanted to share that to the team. Stephanie?
Thank you, Osley. One of my students are freaking out because they're lagging, so I'm like, sign out, log back in, breathe, it's okay. But thank you for the introduction, and thank you for having us here today. I'm always looking for some type of platform where I can share my story, and so I just want to say that I'm here. I'm volunteering my time, my experience, my story, and I'm happy that you guys have me here today, and my two youth. So okay, so my youth is on now, so we're good to go. I think Stacy is pulling up the presentation, I believe. Can everybody hear me okay? Yes? Okay, good.
Hi, can everyone see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Can you go back real quick? One back. I think is it just the introduction? Okay, so I do want to take a second and thank, I think her name was Jen, because my opening piece was, my name, I'm a 21st CCLC site coordinator at the REACH program, but I did want to take out a moment of silence for the disturbing deaths of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and Ahmaud Arbery. So I do want to thank Jen for starting us off with that moment of silence. So with that being said, we can jump into the next slide, and I'll give you a little background of the REACH After School program, and we'll get it started. So the REACH After School program has been providing high dosage of after school programming for middle and high school at-risk youth since 2008. When we're operating at full capacity, we serve over 150 students per year. So these are students that actually stay till 6:30 every day after school, Monday through Thursday, voluntarily. So I want to point that out. The primary goal of the program, of the REACH program, is to identify and prevent at-risk students from dropping out of high school. We want them to graduate. We want them to have some type of secondary goal go to college or vocational tech school, and or be gainfully employed in fulfilling careers. So it doesn't end right when they walk out of high school in 12th grade. I mean, I have alumni from my first youth group at the age of 14 that I still connect with, and so it doesn't end. I think that in our program we have such a tight knit a family bond that it's like a distant cousin once you graduate. It's not an alumni. So some of the outcomes that we have in our program are to improve self-esteem, self-confidence, and make sure that the students have a positive view of their own future. We improve social and emotional life skills, and then graduating from high school with academic skills and knowledge needed to succeed in college or tech school. So that's in a nutshell like what we do at the program, and what our goals are for the youth in our program. Go ahead to the next one. Okay, so here, so I just want to talk a little bit about Chelsea. I know that I think Ozzy Nile and the slides before had a little bit of numbers and data, and people like to see data, right? So I added on this slide my personal a little bit of my kids, my fiance, my mom, and whatnot. So as of today, which was 2 days ago, there are 1,295 patients who have recovered from COVID-19 in Chelsea. There's 2,595 confirmed cases here. While people are recovering from this infection, the coronavirus is a serious enemy, and we mourn the loss of 148 of our residents. Out of those 148 residents who have passed away due to corona or COVID-19, I know 4. And I know 2 people that are in the hospital, induced coma or on ventilators and whatnot. So, when you look at Chelsea's only 2.21 square miles. That's like, I can walk from one corner to Chelsea in another in less than an hour. I'm a fast walker. I like to see. I like to talk. I'm a goer, So when you think of that, it's scary. People are scared to go out. People are scared to jump on a train or a bus and go to work because these numbers are real. And even if you see the numbers, you're like, wow, those numbers are high, but we're feeling it. We're living it. We have people in our houses that have the virus. And like Ozzy was saying, the way that we're structured here is I live on the first floor. My mom lives upstairs, and my sister and her fiance just moved back from Las Vegas because they lost their job, and now they're on the 3rd floor. So our whole house is family, So when you have to quarantine, where do you go? When we're all sharing rooms and we're all so used to eating together and being together, it's hard. So in this picture, in the middle, that's my mother in the red dress. She actually had the virus for about 6 weeks. So for 6 weeks, we couldn't touch her, we couldn't hug her. Her grandkids couldn't go upstairs and say hi to grandma. And she couldn't give them all the candy that they would sneak behind my back. You know what I mean? For 6 long weeks, I had to put masks on my children and gloves just so they can wave at the doorway to grandma. So another rule I forgot to say when I introduced myself is that it's okay to cry on Zoom. It's like a proven. Feel free to adapt it in your programs, but I'll cry happy tears, sad tears, and then I'll feel better afterwards. So if I cry, just roll with the punches. So here, it was so long, but I did want to share this moment with you guys because I think that I can talk and talk and talk, but I think that pictures and videos and it says a lot more. And so my experience is after 5.5 weeks, she finally got a negative result of the virus. And a little background of her, about her. She's a CNA. She's a certified nurse assistant at a local nursing home. They have had over 18 deaths in that nursing home, and she got sick at working at that nursing home. Not only did she get sick, and we were dealing with it on our end, but her employer, human resources was calling her, if you want to keep your job, you better come to work. And she's like, but I don't feel good. Oh, if you don't understand our English, please contact HR. She's like, I understand completely. I don't think you understand my English. I don't feel good. I cannot go to work. And then 3 days later, she got tested, and then she had to wait another day, and then she got a positive result. And she's like, if I was scared, and I went to work, I would have got even more people sick, you know. And so these are the things that we're facing. It's not like, oh, you're positive quarantine. Quarantine is not easy. My stepfather, who has heart condition, who has diabetes, was sleeping on the couch on a recline. He's not a skinny guy, you know. So he was not comfortable. He was not happy for 6 weeks, and he also got laid off of work because they said that it was unsafe for him to return to the workplace when his wife had positive result. So we're dealing with the loss of a job, the fear of losing a job after 33 years that my mother has been in that company. She used to be pregnant with me when she used to walk to work. So we're dealing with a lot. When we say, oh, there's a positive result, we're dealing with a lot in Chelsea. And I'll get more into that. But here was finally when we got to hug grandma, and so I put signs on the floor so she can read it. And it says, the doctor said that we can, and the kids in my room was holding up a sign that said, hug you. And then this is when she actually walked in. So Stacey, you can play that real quick. It's a quick 30-second video, I think, or 40 seconds. Is there volume? If not, it's okay. I mean,
Yes, sorry, that was because I was on mute.
yeah, it's okay. We still can't hear it, Stacey. But if not, no worries. I mean,
Let me know if you can hear it.
no.
Okay, sorry. I could hear it fine.
Okay, so you
Okay.
enjoy it while we watch it.
Let me try one more time.
If not, it's okay. It's just a lot of happy cries.
Give me a thumbs up if you could.
No, but it's okay. We could hear it. It's just, I mean, picture a lot of happy cries, and just kind of laughing and crying at the same time. So that's when she finally saw the pictures that we were holding up, and those are my kids crying and hugging grandma after 6 weeks. So that's my cat and my dog. Even my dog was happy to see my mom. So you don't even think about like the pets that can't be around people, you know, that are sick. And so that's just sharing that hug after 6 weeks. And I wanted to share that with you guys as I cry happy tears. And so that's a little bit of like my story. You know, I like to, I'm an open book. I really am. And wherever I get a chance to talk, I'm a talker. So I don't mind sharing my story. But this is really what COVID-19 looks like. I mean, and worse. I mean, there's so much that goes into this, but the emotional, that mental health piece, it's so big. It's something that we're dealing with on the outside, but nobody sees what we're carrying around inside. And I think that's important to remember. And the next slide, in the next slide, the background is a picture that I actually took. I was picking up some produce and meeting up with somebody like on the side of the road. And those were the boxes that was taken to some families in Chelsea that needed food. So while I was crossing the street, this is right smack in the middle of Broadway in Chelsea, I decided to take this picture. So the background is a picture of downtown Chelsea, taken by me. And the poem I'm gonna read real quick is a poem that I wrote one day. I was in the car waiting for a delivery, and I decided to just pick up my phone, and in my notes I wrote a poem. So I'm gonna read that real quick for you. It's called COVID-19. I can't breathe. Is it COVID-19? I have to sneeze. Is it COVID-19? My drink went down the wrong pipe, and people are staring like there's something wrong with me. Quick, pass her some wipes. Crazy how from each other we flee. They say death comes in three. God, please place your arms around Chelsea. 2,595 confirmed cases, 148 deaths, 1,295 recovered. But how many sets of threes are left? I can't grasp the fact that so many countries populated by people in fear who can't hug one another in times of need. We drowning in an ocean of unknown. Our little city is underwater and taking our dreams, but not everyone can float. So which dream do I take with me? I can't breathe. Is it COVID-19? No, it's the fear of losing someone essential to me. I have had so many losses, I can't bear one more. Over buying groceries at the shore. May the waves take away this virus and the sun burn it away. For I'd rather live a day full of gray than in a city that doesn't pray. So that's a poem that will be in a book near future. But that's a poem that I wrote that I wanted to share with you guys. It's just it's how I picture, it's my coping mechanism. So I've always written poetry, or tried to at least, and it makes me feel better, and it's just it puts into perspective. When you go out, people are staring at each other, they're scared of each other, and that's not our culture. Oh, hi, this is so and so. Hi, nice to meet you, hug. You know what I mean? It's not like, hey, from a distance and don't touch me, you know. It's and if somebody sneezes, everybody's like, you know, oh, get away from that person. Oh my God, she held the kid's hand. Like, it's okay. Like, it's okay and it's not okay. So this just kind of puts into perspective how I'm dealing with it. And I wanted to share that today with you all. We can go on to the next slide. I forget what's next. Okay, so I'm not gonna read all of this, but so I don't know what I did here with this camera. I see everybody's face in the middle. Okay, now. So on the left, there's a picture by Roseanne Bongiovanni. She's the executive director of Green Roots. This picture was taken at a local coffee shop. This is not a produce center. This is not anywhere that sells food in this way. This is a coffee shop with a sandwich, and that's it, and you go. And this has turned into a place, a local spot in Chelsea where people can come and drop off donations, and they distribute it. So these are two volunteers from the Chelsea Collaborative who are evenly distributing produce into boxes, and the line this day was 4 hours plus around the street, okay, just to receive these produce boxes, because there's a huge need here in Chelsea. And I thought that this article, the link is at the bottom, you can copy it, save it for later, but I just wanted to point out like a few things from this article that I thought was really important to share. But the whole article describes how Chelsea is essential, and how underappreciated it is. So I'm going to read the second bullet. After having shouldered burden after burden in Chelsea is the epicenter of the coronavirus outbreak in Massachusetts. Chelsea's COVID-19 infection rate is greater than New York City's at 6 times that of Massachusetts overall. So that's just put it into perspective how bad Chelsea has gotten. Chelsea residents are getting sick and dying at unprecedented numbers. Community experts understand that several defining factors have combined to make Chelsea the perfect storm for infection, and these are some of the reasons why. Overcrowded housing conditions, poor air quality from the airport. We have the salt pile here. We have so much here in Chelsea that affects our health. High rates of predisposing illnesses, high numbers of essential workers. Everybody in Chelsea is an essential worker almost, and we have to work. If not, then we have to quit and we don't get paid. Overcrowded public transit, like Stacy had said earlier, and then the language isolation. It's huge. So these factors are leading to the second wave of devastation, and that's the financial impact that comes with all this. So foreclosures, the loss of businesses, eventual displacements of looming large. This is something that you read, but then you go into our community and you see it. And so I think the next slide, I was hoping that I got it in time before this meeting, but I went this morning and I took some pictures. So Stacey, you can click over while I talk. They can view the pictures. Yeah. So this was me this morning. I was half asleep, but I went because I feel like when you tell a story, if you don't have pictures to back it up, then it never happened. It's not true. It's not real, And to me, it's really important. This is Jack's Men's Shop, and I know my students know what I'm talking about. This is a store that sold sneakers for 20 plus years. My oldest sister, my mom used to take my oldest sister to get sneakers here. When I finally got my first job at 14, this is the first place I went to go get the best sneakers, and my little flip prepaid phone, So, and then this is a store that I've taken my children, to get sneakers at, and this is a store that has closed because of coronavirus, because of the pandemic that's happening. You know, when I look at this, it makes me almost want to cry because it's empty, it's gone, and you know, it's hard to look at. You know, I did a drive by, and I didn't think like I just wanted to share it, but looking at it now, it's breathtaking. Sorry, I told you happy cry and sad cry is okay. So, you know, it's just real. It's real and it hurts. And we're not getting that back. It's something that we're losing. So we'll take a minute, look at this, and we'll jump on to the next slide. Okay, Stacey, you can jump onto the next slide. So again, I mean, Chelsea is small. It's 2.21 square miles. I mean, it's a sanctuary city with so many undocumented families. And like I said, the food pantries are open. The lines are 4+ hours. It's not enough for everybody. You know, they run out of food, and then what do? You know, you take their names and try to prioritize, but it's a priority for everyone. Everybody needs food. Everybody needs to work. Everybody needs to learn how to file for unemployment when they lose their job. And it's hard. Not everybody has, you know, the access to file for unemployment, you know. Also the psychiatric need, the med management, the outpatient services, they're increasing because there's another component, you know, that people are not seeing, and it's the mental health of each and every individual that lives in Chelsea. So I thought that was really important to put here. And I also want to share something positive, because it's not all negative, right? There's always good in a sea of chaos, and organizations like Chelsea Collaborative, the Boys and Girls Club, everybody's teaming up. Like, we don't care what your title is, who you are, if you work for Chelsea Schools, if you work for this and that. Like, if I can help you today, I'm delivering food with the Boys and Girls Club at 3 o'clock, you know, and my meeting ends at 2:30, so I'm hopping on with some sneakers, gloves, and mask and jumping out. But there's no that's not my job description here in Chelsea. It's only we're united, we are helping each other, and we're getting the needs of our people met as best as we could. And so, you know, that's what I want to share with you guys, that it's not just it's a collaboration between everybody here. And with that being said, I don't know what slide is next. Okay, so with that being said, with everything that's happening in Chelsea, there's still an after school program, and there's still 56 of my children that need, you know, that their needs met. And with that, we have transitioned to virtual after schooling, right? And it hasn't been easy. Nobody knows what Zoom is. Nobody ever used it before, you know, and so we're trying to bring the schedule that we had at the program back into, you know, this virtual day-to-day stuff, right? So we're doing culinary on Mondays instead of doing culinary Monday in the club. Then we'll do it here. We'll do it at home. It's okay. Like, and it's funny because when I tell them, okay, do a culinary video at home, share it, and we're gonna keep doing our regular schedule as best as we could. The good part about it is not the fact that they submitted a video, not the fact that they're cooking, not the fact that they edited their video by themselves, but the fact that you can hear mom or a family member in the background say, you're putting too much salt, or stop, that's enough pepper, or, you know, it's the fact that they're cooking at home with family, that they're doing things with their family at home. And that's something that they wouldn't have done if they didn't have somebody telling them to do some type of activity. And so that has been a huge impact. Number 2 is like mindful meditation. We do breathing exercises. I'm always crying. I cry when I'm happy. I cry when I'm sad, and they know that. So we always start our meetings with highs and lows, and how are you doing the person? You know, if you're not good, then you're not going to do an activity good. If you're not okay, then you're not going to care about anything I have to say for the next 30 minutes, you know? Our group leaders, you know, that's one of our group leaders there, Brian Nunez, above Chris. You know, he's meeting weekly. He has weekly times that he meets with students, but then he also has shifted into role playing, virtual interviewing now, because now all these students that normally wouldn't get a job until 11th and 12th grade are trying to get jobs because their family needs it, right? So now they're like, how do I do a resume? Help me. How do I apply? What do I wear on a virtual Zoom interview? So now there's a need there that we have to adapt and change and figure out how to help them. So we're doing that. The tutors are meeting with them regularly. I mean, we're trying once a week, but nobody wants to do math once a week. It's hard and it's not easy, and we're not there like, come on, do it. So but they're joining even if it's check in, and then we'll do 15-20 minutes of math and 10 minutes of checking in, but that's okay because there's something there, you know what I mean? That connection is not lost. English tutors are reviewing and editing, submitting stuff with them. So I mean, we've done a little bit of everything. The YouTube channels, we have a YouTube channel, but a lot of our videos are on Instagram, and they've collaborated with different organizations to thank essential workers. So they've made they made about 2 gratitude videos already. So it's huge. It's huge work that they're doing at home, and I think that I just want to highlight. I think the next slide is Chris, but I just want to highlight the importance of having these relationships built. It's easy to say, it's easy to get you to adapt to change when they trust you, when they have a relationship with you, where they're just like, okay, we're doing a Zoom, we'll figure it out. And then you'll see like 5 students get in, and then they're like this in the little boxes, like, Malcolm's not here. I'm gonna text him right now. Where's Malcolm? He needs to. I think he's having trouble. And then they're all there. They're all there because they care. And it's like when people tell me, how many kids do you have? Oh, I have 56 and I have 2 at home. Because that's what it is to me. I mean, they can tell you I'm a mama bear for real. I fight for them. I fight with them, and it's all love in our program for sure. So that, I think that's my piece. I think the next piece is Chris. Am I right, Stacy? But I don't know if you want to do questions later on, but if anybody has questions, feel free to unmute yourself, ask me, or we can save all the questions to the end. Whatever is best, Stacy. You tell me. But if not, I'm going to turn it over to Chris and let him amaze you guys.
Thank you.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
All right, I'm just going to jump right into it. All right, so I joined REACH in the fall of 8th grade when the program was still gender-based. On my first day at REACH, I approached Stephanie, who was a group leader at the time, to let her know that I did not feel comfortable with the group of boys, being that I was a part of the LGBTQ community and that I wanted to be in her group. Little did I know I was going to be part of a major change to come. I was like the final piece of the puzzle that Stephanie needed to show the higher ups that it's not worth having a gender-based program, but a program that everyone is accepted, and this is what makes the bond that Stephanie and I have so special. And if it wasn't for that change, I probably wouldn't even still be at REACH and working there till this day. Having to adjust to meeting weekly online and being assigned assignments to complete by the following week have been difficult, but YAC, REACH's Youth Advisory Council, which consists of all the youth workers that are employed during the year, adjusted rather than quickly because of the strong bonds that we all have with Stephanie. Whether she's having a bad day or not, the first thing she does is make sure that everyone's head is on straight and that they are okay. It's not just us she has to do this with. There are other students who need to talk, have fun, or just plain vent. Adjusting for me was smooth because most of the work that I do for Stephanie is already computer-based. I love the fact that I'm given assignments by my boss because it keeps me engaged with REACH, and I've been able to pick up new skills like editing together small movies on iMovie to the best of my ability and turning it in. To say the least, this quarantine has made my bond with my group leader and REACH family stronger than ever. And if REACH's 5-week summer program does happen virtually, I'm open to it and love the idea because it will help me keep my mind off of everything in the outside world, being that this summer will not be a normal summer, and adjusting to this new normal is something everyone has to do. So I say we give it a shot. When REACH is in session, her office is constantly full with students going in and out because of the bond she has with all of us. And since school has been out, I have yet to hear from any of my teachers checking on me, making sure that I'm okay, being that I have severe ADHD and anxiety. I've only been receiving nonstop texts from one teacher in particular who has yet to ask me if I'm okay. Do they forget we have families? They don't know what any of their students are going through, and I find it pretty ignorant to worry about assignments that aren't even helping our grades improve. And this is the very reason why I have yet to complete any of the assignments. My grades are already where they need to be, so why should the student body care about the work they put into creating the assignments if it's like they don't care about our mental stability and never have? What I'm trying to get at is that Stephanie, being a mom of two and a fiance, is still able to be a mother-like figure to those who aren't even her own, shows a lot about her character. The way she thinks, operates, and understands us is easy because she comes from Chelsea, like us. I want change. We want people from our communities and people that look like us to be the same ones educating us. We want people who care about us from the moment we enter their classes up until we leave. We don't want people who can't relate to us on any level at all because from the day that they were born, they wouldn't have to work hard to get anywhere because of the color of their skin, unlike us from Chelsea and the surrounding communities who have to prove ourselves each and every day we walk out of our homes. Thank you.
So thank you, Chris, for sharing that. I think that at the end we're gonna have probably a section where it's we can ask questions and whatnot. But I think that you worded that really good, and I think that I asked you to be real and tell your story, and there's no right or wrong answer, and I think that you definitely did that. So, in front of everybody, thank you.
If it wasn't for Reach, I wouldn't be able to type out a speech the way I did in the short amount of time that I did. So that goes to show a lot of the things that I've learned in the short amount of time I've been in the program. So thank you.
Awesome.
And I'll pass it on to Jaylee.
Yeah.
So first thing I'd like to talk about is how I use my artwork to express myself. And since the pandemic, Stephanie has helped me use my art to release the feelings I have about COVID-19 and my community. And on the next slide are the photos of the art. On the top picture you see is a picture I drew of National Guard handing out food. And this actually came from a picture in an article. And I decided to copy it and show how much detail it has, and like showing that they're passing food out, it just kind of hits you hard when you see it can be drawn out. And on the bottom, it's a nurse showing resilience to the coronavirus, but it also has a whole bunch of symbols that represent Chelsea. And how I got these images was that I was having a tough day, and Stephanie gave me the idea to use art to express what I'm feeling. She gave me the question, what does COVID-19 mean to you? And what images come into your head? And with this question and a couple ideas, she made me get a picture that has been all over social media and that's gone on the school district website, the 21st Century website, and even all over Facebook. It's unbelievable how my art has like such a deep message to people that we're even working on making coloring pages of all the art that I'm doing, and even making more that we can hand out to the elementary students in middle school. My work shows things that I'm missing in my community that are important. For instance, the Chelsea High School is there because as a student, it's very tough to lose school right now. And there's also a reach sign. And I feel I had to make that sign pop out.
Oh, Jaylee. Pause. I think we lost you for a quick second. Hold on.
Faces you typically get to see every day, at least once a week, because it helps you socialize and feel some sense of normal through social distance. These people have helped me through tough times, especially being on top of school. Stephanie has always made sure I was on top of school, but always doing good mentally by checking in one-on-one. Her and the program have helped me get opportunities that I wouldn't have been able to get if I wasn't in reach. For example, like going to the Lawrence Bread Bowl was a literacy workshop that we got to learn how to use art, poetry, rap, or even just writing, and being able to express yourself in those forms. I wouldn't have been able to experience it if it wasn't for the Reach program, always keeping me socially active in my community, and even in other surrounding communities. I have many good memories in Reach from way back in middle school when we had a workshop on how to make shoe soles from chemicals, and we actually got to wear them. I have many friends in Reach that have been with me in Reach since the 7th grade, and now that I am a sophomore. Reach just became a second family, a family at school that you can feel comfortable and always being yourself. People that help push you out of your shell to let you know that you're accepted. I have many reach stories from coming in on bad days to communicate with Stephanie, or field trips where I got to have fun with all my friends, or even just them encouraging me to constantly do better. It's just something you normally wouldn't get at any after school program. And it's just something that you get right here in Chelsea. It's important, it's very important to make sure that your students and youth feel safe. It's something that's not normalized in the school system, but it's something you get here. I've had so many peers that have been successful in the REACH program, and not just caring about school, but caring about your well-being. Like in every meeting at REACH, we do highs and lows, which is where we share good and bad about our week, and we all get to talk. And people always listen to you. I just appreciate how much communication we get out of all these meetings, and even if we're playing like a flag football game at REACH, we're always talking. Even if you don't play, you're participating by keeping score, cheering on other peers. It's something that you need help. It's something that you need. You need moral support to get you through high school because you can't do it alone. REACH activities always keep you active, doing something that could even help you in the real world. Like we even have sex ed programs and cooking that we have fun in at REACH, but once we leave REACH, we get to show our families and help them cook. REACH is a program that supports you in many ways, and academically and mentally. Stephanie and the staff always try to help you, make you feel that you belong there. And REACH has been my backbone. It's just a place where you want to surround yourself with people because they're all great and make you feel like you've been in REACH the whole time. Staff and you make such a huge impact. Thank you.
Thank you, Jaylee. Thank you, Jaylee. Thank you, Chris. In a nutshell, we're giving packets and activity books, to people when they pick up food at like our food spots. But we plan on putting Jaylee's coloring pages into these packets. We're also giving 10 senior, we have 10 seniors graduated in the REACH program, and we're giving boxes filled with little items for the seniors, and these coloring pages will be in there with some coloring, crayons or whatever we can get our hands on. And I just think that, if I'm not an artist, I can definitely color. I might not be able to draw what Jaylee does, but I'm definitely going to be able to color, and that's going to help me get my mind off certain things. And so we wanted to share Jaylee's art and her passion in a way that everybody can take it and run with it. And I think that she did an awesome job creating this coloring pages, and there's so many more to go and to do. So I would definitely share that with Carol. And I think that's it for us.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you so much, Stephanie, Chris, and Jaylee, for not only taking the time, but just showing us the beauty that comes out of this really difficult time. You had me laughing, crying, smiling. All three of you did. So I just appreciate so much the work. I want to thank Carol Resnick for connecting us. I was actually in one of Carol's 21st Century webinars, and Stephanie was driving to pick up produce while participating in the webinar and just showing like such a hustler and like really caring for her community, because if there's food available, families are going to get it. And that just was shining to Osley, Al, and myself and Carol. And so we thank you so much for your time. And I know that our meeting was supposed to end in 5 minutes, but we do want to have an optional Q&A time if anyone would like to stay for a little bit and ask Stephanie, Chris, or Jaylee any questions. Cliff, am I missing anything?
No, I did just want to thank everyone who participated today, especially Osley, Niall, and Stacy for planning this session with Stephanie and Chris and Jaylee. I learned a lot. I got a lot out of the session, and just really appreciate all the thought for the whole planning team that went into preparing today. Given time, I do think it makes sense for folks who would like to stay and continue to engage. Feel free to do so. Thank you again, Stephanie, Jaylee, and Chris for being with us today. Before we stop, for those folks who want to sign off, I did want to reiterate that I know that this has been a tough week, a tough month, a tough year, but that there's a lot of stuff happening, and that we will be continuing to think about and planning some additional optional sessions in the coming weeks to allow us to continue to process things as a team and to think about action steps we can take. And we don't, as you may recall, we had 2 times planned on June 26th and July 1st for our next meeting, where we typically would have had two spaces. You could choose which one to go to in the summer, but I think it's not going to be possible to be in person, even in half size. So we're likely going to convert and have our next session similarly like we have via Zoom. And we are hoping to welcome a guest, one of our partners from the Equity Imperative, to do a workshop on critical hope, so that we can continue to think about how to move forward even in the midst of current challenges. So, we'll close the formal session right now. Thank you all for joining this morning. Stay tuned for more information, and I'll share the information from this meeting in my message next week. Thanks again to our guests. And those of you who would like to stay, I'm going to stay for a few minutes to continue to talk with Jaylee, Chris, and Stephanie. Feel free. Thanks, everybody.
If you have any questions, can you put it in the chat box, and then Stacy will be facilitating, moderating?
I do have a question for Chris and Jaylee. Can you talk to us about the culinary experience? What's something that you cooked that you really enjoyed? I would love to hear about that.
And I've been in Reach. My favorite thing that we've made has been like a buffalo chicken lettuce wrap. And that's like my go-to. Like I always hound Stephanie, let's make it, to the point like she's over it. And we always make something different. That's how much I love it. And it's just nice learning new things and being able to bring those skills into my house during times like this, just to keep my mind off of certain things. Because it's like not always being on the phone with your friends. Like it's also self-care and learning how to help yourself without always having to rely on somebody. And doing these cooking things and like cooking at Reach is a way that helps me do that. So that's what I love about it and why it's so helpful to me. And I'll pass it to Jamie.
Something that I like cooking for culinary was actually over quarantine, and I've been baking a lot. And it's when I made brownies. But typically when I'm at Reach, the favorite thing that we made was we actually gonna make our own fries and cook them up and everything when we were making grilled cheese for everybody. That was one of my favorite, because it's like I learned how to make fries just from not by like buying a frozen bag of them. You actually cut the potato and everything.
Thank you both, and for making me hungry. We do have a question. Would you all welcome volunteers from other communities? Jennifer on the screen with the bike in the background. She used to live in Chelsea, and now she lives in Lowell.
Yeah, so definitely. Any help is helpful. So, I mean, if you really want to help, I think that the best way to do is call the Chelsea Collaborative. Because they'll connect you to where the help is needed. So call the Chelsea Collaborative, say, you know, I was in a meeting and I was speaking to Stephanie Rodriguez from the Chelsea Public Schools, and she was saying how you know, there's a need and I would like to volunteer. And they'll send you to the Boys and Girls Club, they'll send you to a food pantry or anywhere at that day or whatever time that fits best your schedule. So definitely hit up the Chelsea Collaborative for that.
Great, thank you. We do have a question about what do you think the COVID school closures would have been like for either of you, the students, without Chelsea Reach?
To be honest, I don't know, because I've never experienced something like this without Reach, but probably going a complete different way than what it is now and how it's going for me. So without Reach, to be honest, I don't know, because this is the first time I'm going through something like this, and I've been in Reach in the 8th grade. So to be honest, probably left, but now it's going better than what I thought because of Reach and the stuff that we're doing. So
thank you.
Yeah, without Reach, I wouldn't know what to do either because Reach has helped me keep myself academically stable since seventh grade. And I feel like without it, I wouldn't be doing good in school during the pandemic.
We appreciate all the relationships building with Reach, and clearly that's been critical for you both. So we have a question again for the students. I'm not sure what grades you are in now. I believe Jaylee said she was a sophomore, but how was your school communicated what your classes schedule will look like for next year, as well as any plans you have for after high school?
I keep talking first, so Jaylee, if you want to jump in and talk first, I don't know, that's just kind of how I am. So if you want to speak first, you're more than welcome to.
It's okay, you can go first, Chris.
But for me, nobody's reached, to be honest, to check on me, nobody's reached out other than my therapist and maybe once in a blue moon, my guidance counselor. And we haven't heard anything yet about how school's going to be. But if there's like not a safety protocol, like something put in place, I'm not showing up. Like, there's like not much I could put to it. Like, I'm not showing up. Like, I've done my best with that school. My grades are really good. So the safety factor needs to be there. And all the students need to feel safe because the number one important thing is their health. And Chelsea High is 1,500 students. Chelsea has a population, I believe, about 40,000 right now. So if they were to open schools and COVID-19 is still where it's at, that's just asking for a disaster. So something needs to be put in place before schools are even going to be reopened. But to answer your question again, we have yet to hear how schools are going to be, how the schedule is going to look. As of right now, we're just rolling with the punches and waiting for the update.
And Chris, what would you like to do after high school? I think either he froze or I froze.
No, he's frozen. Chris, what would you like to do after high school? What are your
Oh,
plans?
after high school, oh my God, thank you. Yeah, I said my internet connection's unstable. I'm sorry about that. But after high school, being that I'm Stephanie's like, what's it called, assistant. So I really started exploring the option of getting my associates in business administration at Bunker Hill. And then I started thinking about opening my own business, selling like lip balms and just like out of the norm things and stuff like that. So I started thinking about business management. And then after that, I'm still on the fence, like 50-50, debating if I do want to go on to a 4-year school. So that's my plan as of right now. And then my career-wise, I would love to if nothing works out, I'd love to move to Los Angeles and become a personal assistant.
Thank you, Chris.
Because of Stephanie, so I just want to make that a point.
So you don't like the snow. You prefer palm trees and beaches. What about you, Jaylee?
Something that I want to do after high school. It's still very unclear to me, but I'm very intrigued by true crime and law, and I signed up for classes for next year.
Great, thank you. Another question for the students. What would